My guest today on Mijas International is Nancy Ruth. She's a singer-songwriter and she's originally from British Columbia in Canada. Nancy comes to Malaga to write, and she's done so since 2001. And she's performed internationally, exploring genres such as jazz, flamenco, and Broadway and Latin. And she has a new album out, Sangria Jam, and she's here to talk to us about her singing career and songwriting as well. Good afternoon, Nancy.
Hi, Karen.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, lovely to meet you. Now, you do say in your biography and also in your intro to the Jasmine Tree that you always knew you would come to Spain. Now, why was that? Do you have family with roots in Spain?
Way back. On my father's side, I have Spanish roots. We're actually related to the Spanish court.
Are you?
In Madrid.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it was just an instinctive thing. I've always been fascinated by everything to do with Spain, just the sounds, the flavors, the visual. When I was a kid, you know, anything to do with Spain was Man of La Mancha. Anything to do with Spain, I was like, that's for me. So yeah. I thought I would end up here, and I did, and I feel quite at home. So yeah, I'm
nice feeling.
Lucky. Yeah,
nice feeling. Yeah. In fact, yes, when you were little, you used to play the ukulele, and you had a flamenco slant then, didn't you?
Yeah, but I didn't know what I was doing, actually. I figured out how to play the Phrygian scale, which is the scale that flamenco music is based on. And I used to play it, and I go da 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 ole, and you know, I would do this, you know, at school with my cousins, and everybody thought I was crazy. But you know, yeah, it just happened to come out that way.
Yeah. And unusual instrument to play for a young person as well, a ukulele, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, my grandfather gave it to me, and he would teach me all these old songs, and so it was in the house.
Yeah. So actually, this creative side is in your family, isn't it?
Yeah. My grandparents were great professional musicians. My parents were sort of second generation, more hobby musicians, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, we were saying, sort of, you've told us really what you love about Spain. Perhaps we should start with how your career got off the ground, because you've got classical training, haven't you?
I started with classical studies, and then I think as a part of my rebellion, I was 20, 21, I gave up the classical for a while and went out and sang in heavy rock bands and toured around Canada. And then, you know, I got that out of my system and went sort of back to studying jazz and working more in the jazz genre. But I've always been drawn to Latin music and flamenco, and so I think when I got here, it all sort of started to feel integral, you know, it all sort of came together, my influences with my training. Yeah.
So how did you come to be here in 2001 then?
Well, it was kind of a long story, but I was performing on a cruise ship at that time, and it dropped me off here. It was the last port of my contract, and I thought, I think I'll stay here for a year, or I think at the time a month. I was thinking a month, and just study Spanish. And I thought, well, no, I'm in Spain now. This is it. This is where I want, you know. And so I just decided to stay. And so I've been here ever since, you know, between tours. I'm not here all year round, but and I don't work here, but I always come back.
Yeah. It's your home.
It is. Feels like home.
Yeah. You're quite an adventurer, as you say. You perform internationally. Tell us about your time collaborating with the Berber musicians in Morocco.
That was an amazing experience. I've had the good fortune to be able to travel through Morocco many times and staying with Moroccan families. I have friends in Morocco and friends here in Malaga that are very much associated with Morocco. And so I did a trip from north to south all the way down to Tiznit, and it was actually at a friend's wedding, a Moroccan woman who was getting married down there. And there were some musicians around, and I, you know, wanted to learn more about their scale, because a lot of their music is based on a 5-note scale. And so we started this dialogue, and then, you know, one guy would call another, and they would call another, and we got a group together. and without any common language or a musical background, or obviously me being a woman, and I mean there was absolutely seemingly nothing in common except for this musical dialogue, and that was one of the most incredible things I've experienced. Just that musical connection.
Yeah, wonderful. And of course the flamencos in Andalusia. You know, that must have been quite exciting as well.
Oh, for me, huge. You know, because flamenco has always been an important influence, and to be a part of the flamenco community here is, I feel very privileged.
I mean, here on the screen we can see you performing with your group.
Okay, great.
Really quite. Yeah, we're going to listen to it. It sounds really, really good. There's perhaps to explain some of the members of the group as well, so people can get to know about them. For instance, there's Jose Luis Arias, isn't there?
Jose, yeah, he was a trombone player on the project. We had a lot of special guests. John Louis Van Damme, great pianist from Holland who sat in. Victor Vallejo, trumpet and some piano. Luis Robisco from Barcelona. Manolo Olmo, flute player and sax player, but the main one is Juan Soto, who is the bass player and the producer for the project. And Juan is a kind of a legend here in Malaga, bass player, and was the musical director for Manzanita for many years. And so when I met Juan, we had a great musical connection, and thought let's put our influences and our experience together to create this sound, which we ended up calling Sangria Jam, you know, because it's got all of my background from jazz and all of my Latin influences, and then plus he being, you know, and plus the whole band practically being from Malaga. Of course, they had a lot to say musically as far as their expression of my songs.
So that's how it all came together. And your inspiration for your latest album, obviously very, very Spanish. I mean, one of the songs is Malaga, isn't it? Yeah. So tell us about that
whole
song.
album is really about my experience living in Malaga, you know, and you know, it's a 15 years of material, really. I decided to write the lyrics in English because a lot of my public is English speaking. And they want to know about the story, you know, what's happened here. And so, you know, it's been incredibly challenging living here, because I'm very much integrated into Spanish culture here, which was a decision I made when I got here, is I really wanted to live, you know, in the culture. And so, you know, it's been a big learning curve. And, you know, when you give up your comfortable little life in Canada, in my case, to come here by myself without any work or any contacts at the beginning. So there was a lot of material there for a lot of songs.
And we're just seeing here some of the images from one of your videos.
Oh, it's a video we shot in Barcelona. I used to live in Barcelona.
So tell us about this.
This is a song. I wrote an album called Para Ti when I was living in Barcelona, and this was my band at the time there. And we toured quite a bit with that album, actually. That was about 5 years ago.
It's quite evocative of the area, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're hoping to shoot some videos here in Malaga, which are very
good. Yeah, because they're quite dramatic, aren't they, and colourful.
Yeah. Well, as is Spain.
As is Spain, exactly. Now you've done Buleria as well. Tell us about that. A special song.
Well, the buleria that I wrote, buleria is one of the palos or one of the styles of flamenco, and it's a rhythm that I particularly like, and so I wanted to incorporate my jazz influence on a piano and write my own version of a buleria. And so I have to tell you, it was very exciting to be able to bring that into the studio and then have the guys, Juan Heredia also, who I should have mentioned is the drummer and the percussionist on the album. So Juan and Juan Soto and I, we looked at this and it was like, yeah, this is really fun, you know. So that's actually how this whole project started, with that one song that I brought into the studio, and then from there I was like, okay, let's do some more. So yeah, really fun.
So you had quite a lot of fun doing this latest album, didn't you?
So much fun. You know, it is for a creative person like myself to come here and then to find such exceptional musicians locally in Malaga, and for me to bring my songs to them and for them to be able to understand my concept of my sort of expression with their influences and my influences together. I love the fact that it happened all very organically, so it wasn't like a forced kind of a fusion, like I'm going to put this kind of jazz thing here and this flamenco thing here. And it was just happened together. So, I mean, obviously the songwriting was a very natural thing for me, and then to work with these guys, we just played the songs, and,
it all comes
then
together.
Had all these special guests drop by, and we took almost 3 years to record it because we were doing it as a collaborative effort, you know. So, but yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful variety of sounds and rhythms. Now, you perform and you write songs. Do you have any particular preference? Is there either one of those that you get more enjoyment from?
I think whatever I'm doing, I have the live show in mind. So what I am recording, I also have the live show in mind because I'm a performer, and I've been doing music or performing as a musician for my whole life. That's what I've done. But I love the studio process as well. Like I said, first of all, the creative process for me, living here in Spain, is a magical experience because I find so much inspiration living here. And you know, I live in El Rincón de la Victoria on the other side of Malaga, which is a very small town, and I live right on the beach. And so I can just kind of, it's almost, I feel like sometimes I can just go outside and catch a song, you know, like go for a run and see what happens today, and then come back, write the song, and say, oh yeah, no, and this, and then I get so involved in the creative thing, and then when the song comes to form, the next thing is to take it to the studio and to the musicians and see how they feel it, and then it's like, oh yeah, that, and oh yeah, and it's so exciting. And then when you come to put the live show together, you get to put all that expression together and see how the audience reacts. So, I love the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell when you're talking about it.
Yeah, no, I feel incredibly fortunate, you know, that I'm still doing this, and it gets better all the time.
You're using your gift. Now, do you have any concerts coming up locally?
I just finished a year of tours, and I just decided to take the fall off to write again, and we're putting a new live show together for this CD. So we're planning to put a whole show together, and then we'll hopefully be doing something here in the spring. In the springtime. And then I have some things pending for next year, so it's all in the works. Have to keep
you have to keep us updated.
You have to keep your eye on the website.
Which is nancyruth.com.
nancyruth.com.
Very easy. Very easy. Well, thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you. What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And all the very best.
Thank you,
with
Karen.
your new album and obviously with your career.
Muchas gracias.
De nada. And that's all for Mijas International this afternoon. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday. And just to say, buen fin de semana.